I'm sure we've all at least done or known someone who's done one of these.
I just have to finish this book before tomorrow's test.
Yeah, we've all seen that before. So, yes, that was a giant law dictionary. And yes, it does hurt when you get hit with it. And no, I don't want to talk about why I know that. But the point being is that studying is important, not just for school or for when you were in college, but for everyday practical application. Maybe it's continuing education for a job. Maybe you're reading up on new procedures or laws. You might even have to read up on stuff that was thrust on you, like medical information, because you're dealing with a family issue. But overall, studying can be very rewarding. Now, what is studying? I mean, it's more than just superficial reading. It involves careful and extended consideration of a subject. Now, when studying, you want to think deeply on ideas expressed that might be new to you. Also, consider how these ideas or topics might affect you personally. You will also want to think about how these ideas and topics will benefit you as well as others. And then obviously studying includes meditation. So how can we make the most of it? Well, number one is we want to get ourselves into the right frame of mind. Now, like what you would do with any important task, you would want to start by setting aside the time. Lay out any materials that you might use, so maybe a pen and paper or whatever you take notes with, whether it be a phone, a tablet, or computer. Set a timer for, if you want to, an odd number. Eugene Schwartz, the copywriting genius, would set a timer for 33 minutes and 33 seconds, and that was the time that he had to focus on study and work and copywriting. I stole that from him because I like that too. Also, have something to drink sitting right there so that you don't feel obligated to get up and get something. Having a routine that we follow prior to study can help train our brain into realizing like, oh, this is study time. Number two, how to study. The easy place to start is with the title of the material. The title is the theme or the main point of theme of what you're going to be going over in the body of the material. And then ask yourself questions such as, based off of this theme or based off of this title, what can I expect to learn? And in what way will this bring value to me? Asking yourself such questions helps provide direction to your study. Now, oftentimes you're going to come across points during your study that you may not fully understand. But when that happens, we want to be careful that we don't get sidetracked and off onto something that's completely off topic and avoid the rest of the material. Ideally, we would want to make a note and research it later. Oftentimes, points become clearer as you progress through the material. As Porkins from Rogue Squadron said, stay on target. Also, if you're reading material that you may feel that you already know, rather than gloss over it, try to make it a goal to understand to the point where you can explain and teach it to someone else. This often unlocks higher levels in understanding of a subject. And number three, what to study. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that there's no shortage of good content out there. So much so to the point where it can be easy to feel overwhelmed because of how much we feel we may have to go through. Now, if we start to feel that overwhelm, we want to be careful that we don't fall into the trap of rushing through the content to get it done. We're not going to learn very well that way. Or even worse, not doing any of it at all because we're afraid that we won't be able to get it all done. Instead, determine realistically how much you can study, and then make it the focus to do really well with that segment. Do that each week, and you may find that eventually you are able to handle more study material, and will also make significant forward progress along the way. Number four, I'm sure we've all heard this before, don't cram. 10 hours of study split up into 30-minute increments over 20 days is going to be a lot more effective than a 10-hour binger with enough coffee to fuel a small airplane. Break it up into smaller, more manageable pieces, and mark a time on your calendar to knock out a small chunk every day. Even the highest walls were still built brick by brick. And number five, reap the rewards. You've been regularly taking in good knowledge, now go put it to use. So to recap, number one, getting in the right frame of mind. Having a routine that trains your brain into understanding, this is study time, is going to help when it comes to actually sitting down to study. Have all your materials in front of you, set a timer, whatever you need to do to help train your brain. Number two, how to study? Start with the title. Ask yourself questions of, based off of this, what can I expect to learn and how can this benefit me? Rather than glossing over things you may feel you already know, try to learn it on a newer level to be able to explain it to somebody else. Number three, what to study. Like I said, no shortage of good information out there, but managing all of it can be stressful. So chunk it into small pieces And remember, it's a lot better to get a small piece done every day than it is to look at the whole pile and not do anything at all. And remember the words of the wise Lady Porkins. Stay on target. Number 4, don't cram. On top of the fact that smaller increments are actually more helpful in retaining the information, getting the proper sleep so that your brain can actually categorize what you've been putting into it is crucial as well. And then number 5, reap your rewards. You've acquired the knowledge, now you get to put it to use. And speaking of knowledge, leave it to Socrates to keep us all humble. He said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." Have a wonderful day.